course is the most beautiful racetrack in America, hands down.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to the breeding stock sale. Book one. Good to have you back with us.
And welcome in, everybody, as we have the Keeneland look ahead for a big Saturday to come, for Saturday, April 16th, where we've got a trio of stakes races to look forward to: the Jenny Wiley, the Lexington, and the Giants Causeway. I'm Jeremy Plonk from Horse Player Now. As we do every night at 8:30, we give you the Keeneland look ahead to the next day's card, and we're going to give you some trainer insight. We're going to give you a little race replay insight to what we think might happen in the big stakes races later today. We've also got the fields to look at for those races, and we're going to look at all the races on the program, 11 of them in all, beginning at 1 o'clock Eastern. As for the racing on the track on Friday, Wesley Ward continued to have a strong run. He's not winning with the 2-year-olds, but he's winning with everything else. Wesley went 2 for 2 on the card, and Tyler Gaffalione watched the big jocks come in, and Florent Giroux, of course, he's always been at Keeneland, but Flavien Prat coming into the colony this year, and he saw Irad Ortiz come in, and they had a big opening weekend. Tyler Gaffalione in week 2 is starting to flex his muscle, another multi-win day on Friday. So he was the leading rider last year in 2021 at Keeneland for a reason, and he looks intent on trying to defend that title as well. So we'll set up the action for you. We'll take a look at the big picture, which is my overview of the racing card and where to attack and where to strategize. We'll also look at the public selectors, handicappers consensus from Keeneland.com to see where my cohorts are looking on the program for their winners. And it'll give us a sense of where the chalk may be, the wide open races. So those two tools we'll use invaluably throughout the course of the racing meet, as we have each night here on the Keeneland Look Ahead. Let's get you started and get you a little bit of data and information up on the screen here as the setup for Saturday. As you see, the 11 race card features the $600,000 Jenny Wiley, and the forecast looks fantastic, everybody. Mid-60s. We're going to have a fast track, and the turf course is going to be in good condition. They're down on the hedge on Friday, and there should be an outstanding program on Saturday, or on Friday they were down on the hedge. Should be an outstanding program on Saturday using the full turf course again. Giants Causeway, Jenny Wiley going on the turf. And then, of course, the Keeneland Turf Pick 3 will include race number 5 on the program, which is a turf starter or a lounge race on the turf. So we get ourselves situated here with the look ahead for Saturday's program. And the 11 race card shakes out like this. There's a third pick 4 added, which begins in race number 4, a middle pick 4. So that'll be on races 4, 5, 6, and 7. You see, as traditional, the early pick 5 starts in the opener, the early pick 4 in race number 2. Again, the turf pick 3 races 5, 8, and 10 on the Saturday card. Pick 6 will be the final 6 on the program, beginning in the 6th. Stakes races all line up successively in races 8, 9, and 10. So as I did my early handicapping, you try to look at the big picture of where all the races and the wagers are and where your picks are. It's all about basing your opinions on the available spots. If you don't have good opinions, really, the schedule doesn't mean a whole lot. It's where can you place those opinions and where can you maximize them. I think I've got a nice video study horse in race number 2. It's going to be part of the pick 4 and pick 5. We'll talk about that one as we handicap each race individually, but I don't think the horse will go off favorite. I think we're looking at like a $9, $10 type horse there to kind of hone in on the early part of the program. Our race 7 long shot play of the day comes up on a 12-1 in a race that historically has produced long shots. So, you know, in my blog, if you follow the blog at Keeneland.com, that I like to find historical trends and races that are chalky. We know that they're typically chalky. And races that produce prices, we know maybe we can shop for prices. Well, we've got one of those races in race number 7, so we've got a chance in there to take a swing. And the horse I liked, 12-1 in the morning line. And then the third play will be in race number 9, the big stakes race, one of 3 stakes races, the Lexington. I think that's the best chance for a price amongst the 3 stakes races on the card. Got a couple pedigrees I like in there and some price horses from Fairgrounds and some good historical fits for the Lexington Stakes. So that's the way the card shakes out. And in the big picture, now if we take a look at what the public handicappers are thinking in advance, we can get a little bit of a sense where the heavy favorites may come from, where the races have a lot of disparity. So let's go ahead and bring that up at this point, and we'll get rid of the bottom so you can see all 11 races here. 11 races on the program, and I think really from the start, Yes to Mischief is going to be a short price right off the get. As you see, 4 of us are on Yes to Mischief. Tom Leach, who had a nice 8-1, best long shot of the day on Friday. He's got Classy Chrome in there trying to pull a bit of an upset. But Yes to Mischief, picked by 4 of the 5 public handicappers. A solid play right off the bat. That's going to be a shorter price. I think the entry in race number 3 was Sterling Miss and Dance Rhythms. As you can see, picked by many of the public handicappers. That looks to be a race where I think the price will be on the shorter side. As we get down a little bit further into the card, and I think you get to the stakes in races 8, 9, 10, and race 11, I think that's where you kind of see in these races it's an either-or situation. Look at race number 8. It's Campanelle, change of control, change of control, change of control, LZ. Change of control and Campanelle are pretty much 1-2 for everybody. Maybe a shot for LZ as the third horse. You get to race number 10. It's the Chad Browns, Regal Glory, Shanty Sarah. Regal Glory, Shanty Sarah. Navratilova thrown in there. And then in the nightcap, it's Highly Motivated and Ducal taking all the play from the public handicapper. So you can kind of see later in the card, it looks like this could be a situation where, we're kind of getting into either-or races. And maybe you don't hit the favorite in every one of those spots, but your second choices aren't going to be big prices either. So I think earlier in the middle part of the card, that 4 through 7 middle pick 4 that they added, that's kind of where all the fat on the bone is. I mean, it seems like those are the races that could get a little bit wild in terms of getting some great payoffs. So we'll take a look at those races as potentially the ones to make a score in. Late in the day, I think the stakes races line up pretty formful, 2 deep, maybe 3 deep in most, except the Lexington. That's a race, and that's why I've got that one on the big picture, as the Lexington Stakes is one you have to really want to try to make a pop on late in the day, because it looks like the 8th, the 10th, the 11th, all are going to be races that are fairly formful. With good quality options. We're talking about top-notch horses in races. They're brought up to these races at Keeneland with an intent to win. And in the last, you got Ducal and Highly Motivated coming off the layoffs that are very talented horses, and they're getting their campaigns kind of rolling. But I would expect one or the other to fire a big shot. So let's get into handicapping. Let's go to race number 1. Public handicappers, as we said, are on the 3. Yes to Mischief in here. Yes to Mischief takes the drop in class. This horse has run at Keeneland in the past, or hasn't run at Keeneland in the past on the main track. Has run at Keeneland last year on the turf. But by Into Mischief, that's the top dirt sire at Keeneland since we've gone back to dirt in the fall of 2014. No sires had more success than Into Mischief, especially at 7 furlongs. These horses have excelled. So I went to Yes to Mischief. I don't think there's a lot of other really good options in the opening race. So this is one of those where, maybe the form doesn't scream stand out with the Yes to Mischief, but I don't think there's a lot of very good ways to turn in here. So I think that one's the horse to beat. I would give Believing a shot coming out of turf races at Fairgrounds. We've seen the Fairgrounds horses run really well this week during week 2 of the meet. So, Believing would be the next best option, I think, for trainer Mike Maker. But they've got to beat Yes to Mischief in race number 1. I'm not going to get too wild in there. I'm just going to, play a pick 5 early. I've got 2 horses I like right off the bat. I think Yes to Mischief is just the horse. If you get beyond Yes to Mischief, there's kind of like a, if not him, then whom. It's just wide open. Single or spread, as we like to say in handicappers world. So I'm going to just go ahead and take the single in that particular situation, and we'll see what we get with the Into Mischief runner in race number 1. Now, the second race on the card, this is where we get to the big picture, and this is where I've got one of my key plays here. It's a video study horse that I went back and took a look at the replay. Several of the horses come out of the same race, February 26th at Gulfstream Park, and the one that I'm really on is the 8-horse, Chasing the Dream. Chasing the Dream ran 4th in that common race that several of these come out of last time. But if you go back on one of your ADW services and check out the Gulfstream Park replays, you also can get that on YouTube. Gulfstream Park's replay show is on YouTube. So you can check that out for free there. Chasing the Crown was just stuck behind horses the whole run through the stretch. Never got a chance to get out. Good fourth place finish that day. Now you get Jose Ortiz, you get blinkers on, Mike Maker. This one's just be out in the clear. Tough post position last time from the 11 hole, had the gun right from the start. So there's a lot of reasons to like this horse off of the video study. I'm all in for Chasing the Crown in race number 2 on Saturday at Keeneland. This one's going to start the pick 4. It's going to be the second leg of the pick 5. And again, I think you've got a horse in the opener that we might as well just concede the race to, unless you want to really spread. But I've got some other races I'd rather spread. So I go single right off the bat, taking the 3 in the opener, taking the 8 in race number 2, that being Chasing the Crown. This is a profile 2 in the second race, a maiden special turf mile. The Gulfstream horses have done exceptionally well in these kind of races over the years. Also, horses coming off layoffs have done pretty well here as well. But I think that Chasing the Crown, part of that Gulfstream contingent coming out of the same race, the one to beat in race 2. Let's go to the third race on Saturday's card, and you've got a 2-prong entry in here where the 1 Sterling Miss and the 1-8 Dance Rhythms both go for trainer Greg Foley. Tyler Gaffleone's named on both. Obviously, he can't ride both. Sometimes when you see a rider named on both halves of an entry, that means they're going to scratch one or the other. In this particular case, I think both horses could potentially win the race. I think Sterling Miss is the stronger of the two, but they both come out of good races at Fairgrounds. Fairgrounds runners at this $50,000 claiming level. This is an upper-level claiming race. The Fairgrounds horses have done really well in these. 6 furlong sprints in claiming ranks. You want to have speed. The early speed of Sterling Miss and Dance Rhythms also has a little bit of early foot, but I think Sterling Miss is faster early on the dirt, and I think more effective in this particular race. So I'm on Sterling Miss in this one. I do think that there's a second option in here where the 9 Short Summer Dress. We talked about Fairgrounds and speed, the kind of horses you want in these upper level claiming 6 furlong kind of sprint races. Short Summer Dress has almost the exact same profile. Early speed coming in from Fairgrounds. Luis Saez had a cold opening week, but he started to pick it up here a little bit in week number 2. Short Summer Dress from the outside with speed. I think you take the entry, the 1 and the 9, and it's a 2-deep situation. And, as we look at the big picture, how this day sets up, we're 3 races in, and we're going single, 2 deep in the third race. So in terms of multi-race wagers, you got to think that, look, the early pick 5 is appealing. That early pick 4 is also appealing because you're starting off with a single in race 2 and only 2 deep in race number 3. So we get to race number 4 with some chances here now to perhaps spread our wings a little bit if we find necessary in our handicapping. Fourth on the card is a 6 furlong maiden special, a sprint race here where I think speed is always dangerous, going 6 furlongs on the main at Keeneland. The 10 True Jedi has a lot of early speed for trainer Chris Davis, who does a nice job with sprinters. Not well known nationally, but he's had a couple horses come here at Keeneland run well with some early speed, and he's got horses at Turf Paradise, and it's all speed down there. True Jedi is a horse, I think, who can pop right from the gate. He did run on the main track in his career debut, being down at Gulfstream Park, but True Jedi is by Carpe Diem, and so that pedigree is just fine here on the main track at Keeneland. Carpe Diem was a Grade 1 winner at 2 and a Grade 1 winner of the Bluegrass at 3 on the main track at Keeneland right at the beginning of the dirt transformation. So no reason to think that a son of Carpe Diem can't handle the main track going 6 furlongs. I'm on the 10 True Jedi. A couple other horses in here are really interesting. Artorias, the 3, is a first-time starter. He's by Arrogate, and the dam is Paula's Silver Lining. She won the Grade 1 Madison here on the dirt and was $1 million earning sprinter. So Chad Brown, who's had a good week here at Keeneland, he's got Artorias teaming up with Irad Ortiz Jr. We don't see first-time starters have a ton of success, though, in these races in the spring meet for the 3-year-olds and the 3-year-olds and up. So Artorias will try to buck a little bit of that trend, but there's certainly pedigree there to be a strong player here at Keeneland. But I'll lean to the horse who has speed and the horse who has experience. True Jedi, the way I'm going in this particular race. Under Oath, the 8 is an interesting horse to talk about, too, in race number 4. This is a horse who's well-bred by Speightstown out of JoJo Warrior, who was a good 2-year-old out in California and a win-early type. Under Oath finished 3rd in the career debut. The horse who ran 2nd that day, though, Cape Trafalgar, has already come back at this meet and ran Thursday here in the final race on the program for Saffie Joseph Jr., and Cape Trafalgar was 2-5, crazily bet. and ran off the board. So I'm a little bit worried about the quality of this particular race that Under Oath comes out of, but it's Todd Pletcher, Flavian Pratt, big Beyer speed figure of 85. But again, the 2 to 5 runner-up of that race is already lost. Do you want to take a short price on Under Oath? Probably not. But if you get, more value, say you get 4 to 1, 5 to 1 on Under Oath, I don't think you will. The only scenario I think that happens if the public goes all in on the Chad Brown first timer Artorias. So if the 3 takes too much money and pushes the price up, you can bet Under Oath, but I would kind of want like 4 to 1 right now after seeing how bad Cape Trafalgar ran coming out of that same race. So for me, that's why I'm going to the 10 True Jedi. I've got some speed. I've got a horse who's already run. Carpe Diem, good pedigree to run over the track, and a good jock in Jose Ortiz. So that's the way I'm headed in race number 4. Let's see what the public handicappers around the way had. True Jedi, also the top pick in race number 4 for Scott Hazelton. So interesting pick there. So we're not on an island, but Under Oath is the top pick for Kim Nelson and Tom Leach. So not a lot of love for Artorias. Everybody kind of using the horse defensively, second, third underneath for that first-time starter from Chad Brown. Let's pivot and talk about the 5th race, because this is like, you look across here, you've got Freedom's Way picked on top in the 5th. You got Credit Liability. You got Churchtown for me, Credit Event for Gabby, and Limited Liability for Kim Nelson. So Limited Liability for Kim and Tom is the only double up. Everybody else, we've got different horses. And so we've got 4 different runners in race number 5 picked on top. And, for me, these kind of situations where I'm on an island, I love it. I respect my fellow handicappers, and everybody puts in a lot of hard work. But if I've got a horse the other 4 don't, and the public may not, then I feel good about that. So to me, put me on an island and let's see what happens. Sometimes that's how you get the better prices. Churchtown is my pick in here. This is a horse who's potentially, I think, lone speed in here. In race number 5, it's a mile and a 16th turf allowance, first level allowance race. There's not a lot of early speed in the race. So I think Churchtown could make the front in here under Paco Lopez, who's a very much a hustling jockey, wants to get to the front. He's the kind of rider who wants to put almost every one of his mounts on the lead. So I would have no problem whatsoever if Churchtown just sends to the front. First start of the year, we've seen these mile and a 16th and mile allowance races. Very common for horses to make the first start of the year, a winning one here at Keeneland. I think it's a pace edge for Churchtown in here, and that's where I'm going to go. Post 11 is no picnic going a mile and a 16th, but a little bit more run to the first turn than the mile races. And if there's not much speed in the race, then a horse from the 11 hole is going to clear and cross over and should get decent position into the first turn. There's just not anybody else in here that I feel is committed to going to the front. You could see some speed from the 8, Watch the Music, and if that's the case, then maybe you're sitting too wide with the 11 hole with Churchtown. So that's going to be my shot in there in race number 5. It starts the Keeneland Turf Pick 3. And, I think later in the Keeneland Turf Pick 3, these races are going to be pretty darn focused. We'll talk about it when we get to the Giants Causeway in race 8 and the Jenny Wiley in race number 10. I don't think you're going to need a lot of combinations in the Keeneland Turf Pick 3 later in the day. And if they chalk out, we're looking at a Keeneland Turf Pick 3 that's, $200 or less. We're not looking at a big bopper on this card unless we can get a price here in this race. Maybe Churchtown can provide that. You don't want to spend too many combinations in the Turf Pick 3 as it is. But in this particular case, I think with the likelihood of either or kind of possibilities in the second 2 legs, I don't think you want to go too deep here. I think 3-4 deep max is as far as you want to go. The 11, the 2, Freedom's Way are horses to me that are should be on your ticket. Churchtown, Freedom's Way, Limited Liability, the 6 for Shug McGay. He comes out of some good races. Faced Annapolis last year, Coinage, some really nice 2-year-olds in New York. I could see those horses being on your ticket. Setting of the Wise, the 12 is an interesting long shot in here. Big closer from Fairgrounds in the debut, and a horse who didn't get any pace help last time, so it doesn't look like a fast pace this time either, but this horse closed the win behind Dawdling Fractions last time, so maybe even the 12 one to consider in there. But Keeneland Turf Pick 3, I think this is your best chance to get a price of the 3. I'll go with Churchtown, the 11 horse. Let's go to the 6th race on the program, and the 6th race is an allowance on the main track, and 6th race here has a field of 7 where This is another one where I don't think there's that much early speed in this particular race. The 5 Soros comes out of sprint races. I don't trust that one to make the entire trip, stepping up in class and also stretching out in distance. That's a double ask. But I think on the drop in class and speed, number 6, Wayakin is the horse to beat. Mike Maker trains that one, Jose Ortiz. Again, by Into Mischief, his horses do very, very well on the Keeneland main track. Sometimes better at one turn than two, but at a mile and a 16th, certainly capable. Wayakin comes off a good second last time out at Oaklawn. We'll throw up the caution flag. The Oaklawn horses have not run well at all. Shut out through the first, 4 or 5 days of the racing meet here at Keeneland. So you're taking a little bit of a risk there, but Wayakin's a horse who's run well on other circuits. This horse was very good at Churchill last year. Look at the running lines. I like the company lines for Wayakin last time. Caddo River, of course, a horse last year. It was on the Triple Crown Trail, graded stakes type horse for Brad Cox. And prior to that, Safa's Day, who's a really nice allowance, lower level stakes kind of horse for Steve Asmussen. So I think this is a horse who's faced good competition, better than these in the 2 races recently at Oaklawn Park this year. So I'm on Wayakin in here as potential lone speed. I don't think there's a ton of speed in here. The one Meister, has a little bit of pace about him. Maybe he's sent along from the rail, and that wouldn't be a shock. But I think the 6 is probably quicker than the 5. Maybe not with the 1 with the way the draw sets up. So Meister, Wayakin, they go to the front. One of those 2 hold them off. Maybe if you get a closer in here, the 3 Southern Passage, Super Saver, the sire, I'll mention, very good with the route horses. To me, it's one of those that I even consider a blind bet sometimes on the Super Saver routers racing here at Keeneland. So if you want to take a shot in the 6 with the 3 Southern Passage, you won't get a big argument from me. I picked the horse third in my rankings, but I think the 6, Wayakin, the horse to beat there in race number 6. Let's bring up the public selectors for the 7th race as we move on the card, because this is where I've got a long shot play, and for me, I'm trying to find a price in this particular spot. And if you see Injunction for Scott, you've got Next for Tom. I've got Eben. Injunction also picked by Gabby. Flamingo Hawk, the top pick for Kim Nelson. It looks like Injunction's going to be the favorite in this particular spot. But, favorites have not had a lot of success in 7 furlong allowance races at Keeneland. These have been spots to try to get yourself a price, and I'm going to try to do it here. This is where I've got a long shot play. My key play number 2 on the card. 12-1 in the morning line is Eben. This is a long shot bomb here. This horse comes out of a race last time out where Eben, the 10 horse in race number 7, he was chasing Nashville in his most recent start, and he had to do the dirty work against one of the most brilliant sprinters in the country when he's on his game. Now, we've seen Nashville come back and tank here in this meet, and that race knocked him out, I think. But Eben last time had to chase Nashville. Don't worry about the margin getting beat 10 lengths. That's fine. Draw a line through the race. Prior 2 starts were on sloppy tracks. Now, if you get rid of the last 3 starts, I know you say, well, look, you got to be a forgiving handicapper sometimes, but 3 times? If you're going to get a price, being forgiving 3 times could be fruitful, because this horse's races at 7 furlongs and a mile and on fast tracks are all very good, including a 4th place finish, beating only 2 lengths in the Lafayette Stakes here last year, or back in 2020 in the fall meet, when Sleepy Eyes Todd was on a roll. If you remember back in the pandemic, Sleepy Eyes Todd went all around the country and just won everything. He was like the king of 2020 and traveling. He won the Lafayette here at Keeneland. 2 lengths back was Eben in that race. If you kind of look at where we're at now in a second level allowance race at 7 furlongs, Sleepy Eyes Todd would be a very short price against this field. So I think Eben kind of fits back in here if we forgive the last couple. And again, last time chasing Nashville, I'm going to give a mulligan on that one. And this is how we produce a nice price, perhaps. 12-1 in the morning line. I think we're going to get every bit of that, because looking at the running lines, 6 beaten 10, then beaten 20, and the prior start to that running 6 in the Tenacious. There's not a lot there that, unless you get creative and really think through it like I have in here, most people aren't going to get to Eben. I think this horse will be a nice price, and I'm going to take my shot. So when we look at our key plays of the day, if we can get Eben in race number 7, look how things open up. Because with the big picture, remember, race number 4 is a middle pick 4. So 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. If we could get Eben in this 7th race at 12-1, you're looking at the final leg of the middle pick 4. You're also looking at the kickoff leg to the late pick 5. So again, this is one of those situations where you got a horse you like, 12-1 in the morning line. You're certainly playing them intra-race. You're definitely playing Eben, win place, hooking up in the exactas, betting to win. But if you can get him to anchor that middle pick 4, and if you can get him to kick off the late pick 5, this is how you make your meat. If you bet the 12-1 and win, you make your day. If you get him in those pick 4s and pick 5s and connect the dots around, that could be a meat maker. So that's what we're looking for in race number 7. Okay, 8th race on the card is the first of 3 stakes races, and we've got some content to get you here. So let's take a look at the field for the Giants Causeway, race number 8. That's our first stakes race that we're going to take a look at. And last year we had the winner of this race coming right back. It is Change of Control in the post 5. And what I meant to say was last year he was also the winner of this race. And we're going to go back. Let's take a look at Change of Control's victory in this stakes a year ago.
They are at the post. They're off in the Giants Causeway. LZ. Quick into stride, comes right out for the lead. Into Mystic is there to the inside, in good spirits, up close in between horses. And there goes Jakarta moving by to the outside to take over the second spot and tries to draw alongside the leader. LZ against the rail leads at a half length. Jakarta second, a length and a half. Into Mystic, third by a neck, just to the inside of In Good Spirits between horses. In fourth, a half length. Change of Control, going to be wide to the far turn. In fifth, Fashionable Lady, sixth toward the inside. Barracuda is at the back. The opening quarter went in 23 seconds flat. Around the far turn. Into Mystic, tries to find an opening down next to the rail. LZ still leads it though. Jakarta's there on the outside. Into Mystic third, a length off the lead down toward the inside, a quarter mile to come. Then a gap of 2 more lengths to In Good Spirits in fourth. Change of Control swings toward the outside in fifth. Into Mystic up the inside and has the lead at the 8th pole. Change of Control down the outside. Jakarta third between that pair. Can Into Mystic hold off Change of Control? Change of Control is trying. A length between them. Now here's Change of Control alongside. Change of Control and Colby Hernandez rally to win the Giants Causeway. Into Mystic was home second. And then further back close for third, Jakarta or In Good Spirits.
Certainly far different conditions this year expected tomorrow than what we had with the softer turf last fall and the wet conditions. But Change of Control has run on anything. This is an outstanding runner. Overcame post number 10 to win the Franklin County here during the fall meet. This is a horse who is 2 for 4 lifetime on the Keeneland turf. And there have only been 3 horses in our database, it goes back to 2006, that have won 3 turf sprint stakes. Silver Timber, Havelock, the other 2. Those were way back in the early mid-2000s. Change of Control can pull this off. She'll become a 3-time winner over the local turf course. And really, the filly she's got to beat is number 3, Campanelle. Campanelle for Wesley Ward, third behind her in that race. In the fall in the Franklin County, she'll make her first appearance in the Giants Causeway as Change of Control looks to defend her title not only in this race, but in the last 2 Turf Philly Stakes races in the sprint ranks here at Keeneland. So to me, I think it's an either-or situation. It's the 3 Campanelle, it's the 5 Change of Control. And with a big field, we've got LZ out in the 12-hole. Difficult post position for LZ, who's a very talented filly, a stakes winner over this track in her own right, but the 3 and 5 are really advantageous post positions for Campanelle and Change of Control. We've said this before, but it bears repeating because it's one of the best stats there is out there. In full field turf sprints at Keeneland, the 3, 4, 5 posts win about 45% of the races. And when you think about it, 3 out of 12 is 25% of the field. Their natural strike rate should be a little bit better than 25 because, they've got inner type post positions, but they win 45%. And the average winner is more than 11-1. And over the course of opening weekend, on Sunday of opening weekend, we had that power post winner for Wesley Ward in the final race on the card Sunday. They paid, I believe, $31 or $32 on the win end. So the power posts are real and they still exist. Campanelle in the 3-hole, Change of Control in the 5, risky reward between them if you're looking for a price horse to throw in there. But I think Campanelle and Change of Control are probably the 2 best horses in the race to start with, and they have power posts. I think you just look at 2 deep in the Giants Causeway Stakes. To the Lexington Stakes next, and these are the 3-year-olds maybe trying to get their way into the Kentucky Derby still. Yesterday on the show, we played some sound from Brad Cox, the trainer of Tawny Port, and Tawny Port's like right on the edge of the Kentucky Derby top 20 standings and probably in, but Brad's worried about somebody jumping coming out of this race, so he wants to make sure they get to the Kentucky Derby. So Tawny Port, the 9, is in this race to get points for the Kentucky Derby. This is not like I'm bypassing Louisville in a couple weeks. They're trying to get there and lock it down. Dash Attack, Call Me Midnight, Major General, In Due Time. These are all horses, Ethereal Road, who have tried the road to the Triple Crown this spring. They had some success earlier, but they didn't accrue enough points along the way to feel confident to be in right now. So they're going to try to get in with the final bit of points that are offered in the Lexington Stakes. This is a race that has been a little bit batty in recent years. It's been run back on the dirt 6 times. We didn't have it during the pandemic year. Of the 6 times it's been run on the dirt since it's come back, 3 horses were logical. They were 5-2 or less. The other 3 were big bombs at 11, 14, 17 to 1. Kenny McPeek's had a couple of those long shot winners, including last year. McPeek will try to go back to back. He's got Dash Attack. Don't be afraid of a deep closer in this race. The average winner's been like 5, 6, 7 lengths off the pace after the opening half mile. Deep closers have done exceptionally well in the Lexington Stakes since it's come back to dirt. So for me, I'm going to go to the outside in the Lexington with one of my key plays. I'm going to Call Me Midnight, folks. I think Call Me Midnight, a late runner from the fairgrounds, should be a nice price on the outside for trainer Keith DeSormo. He's run races in this horses in this race in the past who have run well running in the Lexington. It's a race he's used to get to the Kentucky Derby in the past. And I think Call Me Midnight from off the pace, consider the fairgrounds this year. I think Epicenter, as good as he was, and then what we saw last week in the Toyota Bluegrass Stakes, when horses out of the fairgrounds, Risen Star, Smile Happy, and Zandon came back and they ran 1-2, Zandon beating Smile Happy in the Bluegrass. That underscores the fairgrounds circuit this year. Epicenter, I think, is the leader for the Kentucky Derby division right now. The horses from that circuit at fairgrounds ran so well in the Bluegrass. I think that could translate as well to Saturday's Lexington Stakes. And, you know, we've got 2 horses from fairgrounds, I think, who have pedigrees to like Keeneland. They've run here at Keeneland in the past. And the other one is Strava. Strava was a nice winner here last year. Let's take a look back at Strava's victory. And he's a horse coming from fairgrounds who I think can make some noise at a price as well. He's bred to like the track, and he got a victory here last fall. Here's Strava.
They are at the post. They're off. Stealth Fighter quick into stride, but Classic Moment's quicker. And here comes Jack backed to the inside, press the issue as well. So Classic Moment outward from the railhead in front, but now here's Jack backed up the inside to press the issue. Then a break of 4 more lengths. Strava tucked away down toward the inside quickly in the 3rd position, a half length as they head for the far turn, followed by Switzer, who's between horses running in 4th. Stealth Fighter is 5th up on the outside. It's a bang bang goes 6, 1 lane off the rail. Leslie Chow 7th to the inside of that one. OP Firecracker is 8th. Jackie's Back is 9th. And Berto last of the 10. It was 21.94 seconds, the time for the opening quarter. Classic Moment to the outside, and Jack backed to the inside. They're joined by Switzer in 3rd, who swings up with Stealth Fighter, and OP Firecracker. Strava in behind horses looks for running room from 6th as they turn for home. Classic Moment, short lead. Switzer is there. Strava to the inside. OP Firecracker down the outside. OP Firecracker coming after Switzer, who's between horses, and Classic Moment, who fights on toward the inside. OP Firecracker, Switzer, Classic Moment, Strava switching lanes to the far outside. Here's Strava with a late run. That was quite a move. Strava angling 4 wide in the final 16th and rallying up to win it for Tyler Gaffalione.
Indeed, it was quite a move, Kurt Hoover, and that's Kurt Becker. And that's a reason why I think Strava could be a real factor here. A horse we know likes the track, coming from that fairground circuit that's been so good this year. That's one of my upset picks. I'm going with Call Me Midnight and Strava as you look at the public handicappers picks for the 9th, the Lexington Stakes. Tom Leach also going with Strava and Call Me Midnight. We are on the same train, Mr. Leach, and the way he's been picking long shots lately, I like the sound of that. So 2 price plays. The 11 and the 8, those are my horses and my keys that I'm going to be leaning on in the Lexington Stakes. Let's go to the Grade 1 Jenny Wiley. It's the feature race on the Saturday program. Field of 6 in here, and Shanty Sarah and Regal Glory both go for trainer Chad Brown, who's had a lot of success in this race. He's won it 4 times in recent years. Would not be any surprise whatsoever to see Chad Brown come right back and win it again. I think he's got this field over the barrel, as they say. It's Shanty Sarah and Regal Glory as the top 2 horses to consider. Regal Glory is the older horse and coming off the win in the Pegasus World Cup Filly Mare Turf, inaugural edition of that race down at Gulfstream Park. I think the elder stateswoman of the group is the one to beat in here, Regal Glory. She'll have Jose Ortiz riding. Flavian Pratt does ride Shanty Sarah. She'll be coming back to run for the first time as a 4-year-old. Her form was excellent, and we're going to show you her win in the Queen Elizabeth II Challenge Cup in just a moment. Her form at 3 was excellent, but remember, 3-year-old fillies on the turf are taking on like a subset of a subset. The pool of eligibles shrinks when you talk about only 3-year-olds, only fillies, only turf runners. It gets a lot tougher when you get these older filly and mare ranks. So those really good 3-year-old turf fillies don't always necessarily become the stars of the older turf division. We'll see with Shanty Sarah because she was awfully, awfully impressive the last time we saw her. Let's go back and look at last year's QE2 during the fall meet.
And they are off in the Queen Elizabeth II Challenge Cup presented by Dixiana. There's Burning Ambition outrunning for the lead down toward the inside. Technical Analysis. Empress Josephine also up close in the opening strides. Burning Ambition, though, has the advantage. Here's Technical Analysis moving forward now to take the lead as they head to the first turn. Empress Josephine third. Shantasara is in fourth. Queen Goddess fifth against the rail. Cloudy Dawn sixth on her outside. Nicest is seventh. Closing Remarks is back in the 8th position. Flippant last of the 9, but right there with the rest around the first turn. The opening quarter, 23.91 seconds. Technical Analysis against the rail leads at 3/4 of a length. Empress Josephine goes second to the outside. Then a gap of 2 more lengths back to Burning Ambition in third. Shantasara now moves up to challenge for that third position from the outside. 2 more lengths to Queen Goddess, Cloudy Dawn, Nicest, Closing Remarks, and Flippant, who trails at the midpoint of the backstretch. 48.63 seconds the time for the first half mile. Technical Analysis is the leader for Jose Ortiz to the far turn by 3/4 of a length. Empress Josephine is second on the outside by 2 lengths. Shantasara and then Burning Ambition, who moves up once again third to the inside, 2 lengths off the lead. Queen Goddess is in the 5th position. Cloudy Dawn is in 6th. Midway on the final turn, Technical Analysis the leader by a length. Empress Josephine asks for more. She's second on the outside. Burning Ambition still third against the rail. 1/4 mile to go. Shantasara is 4th up on the outside. Queen Goddess and then Flippant in the center of the course. Technical Analysis with Shantasara now taking the lead, moving by the 8th pole. Burning Ambition third. Nicest running late toward 4th, toward the inside, but Shantasara is moving on for the finish. A widening 4-length lead to Technical Analysis in second. Down to the wire, Shantasara, Flavian Pratt to win the Queen Elizabeth II Challenge Cup presented by Dixiana.
So it's Pratt and Shantasara back after the October layoff. They'll leave from the 3-hole with Regal Glory and Jose Ortiz, the stablemates for Chad Brown, just to their outside. One other one I want to make a note about in here is number 6, Lady Spear. Luis Saez, Roger Atfield. If that sounds familiar, we just saw him win today. They won the Maker's Mark Mile with Cheryl Spate at 9-1, paying $20. So you've got hot connections there off the big win on the turf. We'll see if Roger Atfield, the distinguished elder statesman of the Canadian training ranks, can get back-to-back stakes wins here at Keeneland on the turf. Again, congratulations with the big win today in the Maker's Mile with Cheryl Spate, and now Lady Spear will try to pull it off in race number 10, the Jenny Wiley on the Saturday card. Our final look in the look ahead today is on race number 11 for Keeneland's finale. It's a 7-furlong allowance race in the nightcap. Let's go to the selector's box and see what everybody's got in here, because it looks to be a 2-horse race between Ducal and Highly Motivated. Of course, Highly Motivated, the horse who ran so well last year in the Toyota Bluegrass, ran too well to lose, actually. He ran a fantastic race when going head-to-head with the champion last year, and Highly Motivated that day just came up a neck short of Essential Quality. He went on to run 10th in the Kentucky Derby, and we haven't seen him since. But Highly Motivated was an impressive winner of the Nyquist during the fall meet of 2020 here at Keeneland. We know he absolutely loves this track. He's by Into Mischief, 7 furlongs. It all adds up. But we did tell you these 7 furlong allowance races have been a little screwy at Keeneland. Just as many horses have won and paid $20 or more in these races as favorites have won 7 furlong allowance races on the dirt in past spring meets at Keeneland. So the chance for a price is there. We took a shot at the price in the 7 furlong allowance race back in race number 7. That was our long shot play of the day in the 7th race as one of our key plays. But in this 11th race, I think if you're going to get favorites some of the time and long shots others, I like the long shots in the 7th. I do not like the long shots in the 11th. I think this race comes down to Highly Motivated and Duke Hale, 2 very, very strong horses, Brad Cox, Chad Brown. I would be surprised if one of these 2 does not come away with the victory. Soup and Sandwich, a horse who was runner-up in the Florida Derby last year, also in the field. He's a classy horse, no doubt about it. But I think at this distance, at 7 furlongs, Highly Motivated, Duke Hale should just be outstanding, and that's the way we're going to wrap up the card. So that's it for tonight's look ahead for the Saturday, April 16th card at Keeneland, featuring the Jenny Wiley as the main event in race number 10 of 11. The Giants, Causeway, and Lexington go as races 8 and 9 on the undercard. First post will be 1 o'clock, but before then, you can check in with Today at Keeneland, 11:30 a.m. Eastern with Scott and Gabby. They'll have the updated conditions, all the scratches, changes, everything you need to know. But the forecast is for a great day, sunny skies, temps in the mid-60s, and should be a fabulous Jenny Wiley Saturday. On behalf of everybody at Keeneland and at Horse Player Now, I'm Jeremy Plonk. Have a great night and good luck tomorrow on the big day in Lexington.